How are we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to be giving my feedback for the rework on Succession Ninja and then also adding in some extra changes that I'd like to see them do in the future when they start touching classes up again. So overall, I want to say big thumbs up. Well done on the Succ Ninja reworks. Everything they changed, I liked. There's a few things I still like them to just adjust a little bit, and I do have some minor criticisms. So my first criticism is the alert stance they've added to Black Moonlight is great, but it's only really good with the non-animation cancelled version of Black Moonlight. So now if we were to take a look at the animation cancelled version of Black Moonlight that provides a stiff instead of a float, we can see that we have to go through the full animation of the skill, then there's a delay, then there's the alert stance. Whereas when we're looking at the regular Black Moonlight that does a float, you can see that it literally cancels after the float into the alert stance. So just to unify that for both versions of the skill, so right after the stiff, at the same point it would be for the regular non-cancelled version, goes into alert stance, that would be a big help. It would make it a lot easier to use the animation cancelled version and actually use the alert stance. Because right now, if I was to do any of these, I'm usually go stepping out because it is faster and is more protected than using the alert stance itself. And that's very noticeable in combos. When you're comboing your opponent and you're chaining multiple stiffs together and then you want to go for the float, you can't do Black Moonlight into alert stance into float because it's too slow. Your opponent will no longer be CC'd. So you have to do the Black Moonlight into Ghost Step, the stiffed version of Black Moonlight into Ghost Step Stomp. So very noticeable on that aspect of Ninja, and this would just allow it to unify this skill and just make it a lot more useful. So that's one of my nitpicks. So my next nitpick would be just to revert the stam lock that we have on the alert stance. I don't believe is necessary. Succession Ninja is a class that already uses a lot of stamina, and adding 2 extra skills that have stamina usage already on them is enough to restrict the movement, in my opinion, personally. I don't believe we need that stam block. It will give us a bit more variety in terms of actually using these 2 extra forward guards that we've got. We've been asking for a long time, please give us more forward guards on Succ Ninja. Especially with the damage that we have now, it does become really useful to have that forward guard, extra forward guard options. But the problem is lingering alert stance these days is not beneficial because the amount of stamina we're using, it's better to linger something that would give you stam regen rather than linger your alert stance. So I think it's a bit too restrictive on that end. So I would like to see that reverted. Okay, so for this next one here, it doesn't matter if we're awakened or succession. This is the most important change. Remove the gap in Ghost Step. Because right now, going from a skill into Ghost Step, we have a gap. Going from Ghost Step into a skill, we have a gap. I don't want to hear excuses, just get it done. If you could do it for Succ, you can do it for Ninja, and you can do it for other classes. It's not, there's no gap, I don't care what it is, this needs to get fixed, so fix it. Simple. So this next one here is a small change that would be a massive quality of life buff for us ninjas out here, Succession Ninjas. So we got Fatal Blow Flow. Currently, to do the flow, first we've got to do Fatal Blow. So that's RBRT, or R1, R2, or LMB, RMB, just depending on the platform that you're on, to do Fatal Blow. All ninjas will learn to do the flow probably before they read the skill, because they'll do LMB, RMB, and then they'll continue holding LMB, RMB, and it does the flow. It's super intuitive, super easy to do, but actually to do the flow, you can either hold RMB or hold LMB. There might be some ninjas looking at this that didn't even know that this was a thing. Just always held LMB, RMB because that's the most intuitive way of doing it. The problem is when you have an or and not an and, is key conflicts. So when we do Fatal Blow into a different skill, if they use either LMB or RMB in that skill input, it prioritizes the flow before the next skill. So examples of this, doing Fatal Blow into Shadow Slash, we'll do the flow first. Doing Fatal Blow into Ankle Cutter, we'll do the flow first. Doing Fatal Blow into Ninja Step, we'll do the flow first. And the last one, I guess, doing Fatal Blow into Fox Claw, we'll do the flow first, which is just a huge annoyance, and there is a workaround. The workaround is, if you were to do the Fatal Blow, you could just wait a second and then put your next, take your fingers off all those key inputs and then redo your key inputs for your next skill, which is just a huge annoyance. It is a workaround, but it's massively inconvenient. and just would really save us breaking our fingers if you were to make this tiny little convenient change for us. So the next one here is Crescent Slash. Currently, if you want to do the animation cancelled version of Crescent Slash, ghost stepping into it or shadow slashing into it is the best ways of getting that done. Just make it always the animation cancelled version. So get rid of the slow cast version. So that way we can go for like a lingering essay into Crescent Slash, so we don't have to use stamina to get into the skill. That would help a little bit with some of the stam management issues that we have on the class. Now, I still like it even if they were to change the alert stance to give stam regen, but especially if they don't want to revert that stam regen, the stam block that alert stance has, I think this would be a really good way to give Ninja just a little bit more options into making the skill a bit more versatile and allowing us to use it to get some stam regen without forcing us to use stamina to get into the skill. And that's it. Those 5 changes is all I want to see just to make Ninja that much more fun to play without making the class OP. Now, you could argue the biggest change is the alert stance one. And if PA or other players feel like that change to take away the stam block on alert stance is too strong, if they could just give us a few weeks to play around with it and then take feedback and then make a decision, just be like, hey, look, we're making this change, we're not sure on it, if it's too strong, we will be taken away, but give us your feedback, Ninja and non-Ninja players. Just be transparent with the player base will be transparent with you, hopefully. But the other stuff is minor, man. The Black Moonlight change, that's just unifying the skills, so it just makes the change that you made consistent. And consistency is kind of important when it comes to classes. And right now, like, you've given us an alert stance change, but when Ghost Step is still better, it's not really that great of a change when it comes to the animation cancelled version of the skill. So there's that, and then we got the change to Fatal Blow for me is the biggest one, just so we don't get all these key conflicts with the Fatal Blow into another skill, so we don't have to do the flow, would be huge. And the change for the Crescent Slash, taking away the slow animation and always giving us the fast version, I think would just give it a lot more flexibility to that class and help us with stam management. So if we don't get the alert stance one, I do think that one would have a big benefit for the class generally. And obviously, fix Ghost Step. I don't need to say more about that. But that being said, let me remind you guys, in the reworks, they made Shadow Eruption SA for Succ. Let me repeat that. Succ got another protected re-CC. Grim Reaper wasn't enough. I mean, they've even got turn backslash if you think about it, but you can argue it's a bad re-CC, but it's still a re-CC. If someone gets caught in a XVX or 1VX, you can then re-CC them with a protected skill. That's kind of big. That's one of the hardest parts of 1VXing, XVXing, is getting that re-CC when you don't have protected re-CC. Us here on Succ Ninja, we don't have no protected re-CC. All our re-CCs are unprotected. I'm fine with that. We got all these gaps in all of these movement skills. And all of these skills, we have these millions and millions of gaps. That's fine with me. I get it. But Succ, there's no fucking gaps in Succ. They already had Grim Reaper and turn backslash as protected re-CCs. You can still get the fucking bomb skill on top. But now, you know what? They gave him Shadow Eruption on top? Hell no, bro. If you want to keep that change on Succ, I'll tell you what. Make Black Moonlight SA, right? So it goes SA, then I don't care. You don't have to change the alert stance. I'm just memeing a little bit at the end here. I just think that's absolutely outrageous, getting another protected re-CC for Succ of all classes. Absolutely insane. But guys, that is the video. Put in the comment section down below what changes you want to see. Criticize the changes I got here if you don't like them. We can have a back and forth. But yeah, that's this video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.